staff ka ni ano. Bakit kami maaalis siya? Kasi staff kami niya. Ito kayo kakantugin na.
Today's session shall be chaired by the Honorable Chief Justice Artemio D. Pangaliban, ex-officio chairman of the JBC. Also in attendance are Secretary Raul M. Gonzalez of the Department of Justice, Senator Francis Pangilinan of the Senate. We have regular members Dean Amado Di Mayuga, Justice Regino Hermosissima Jr., Justice Raul Victorino, and Attorney J. Castro.
The session of the JBC will please come to order.
Ganda yan. Wala na akong kuha. Nag-logo pa.
The Judicial and Bar Council has been assembled now in session for the purpose of interviewing the 6 candidates for the position of Chief Justice. We have sent letters of invitation to the following: Justices Antonio T. Carpio, Angelina S. Gutierrez, Renato S. Puno, Leonardo A. Kisumbing, and Consuelo Y. Santiago, as well as to Senator Miriam D. Santiago. However, during the last 2 days, the JBC received individual letters from the 5 incumbent members of the Supreme Court opting not to be present in today's interview. Their option not to appear is their prerogative. However, Senator Santiago is present and will therefore call her to take the interviewee's seat. Please call Senator Santiago. Magandang hapon po, Madam Senator.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chief Justice and the other 8 members of the Judicial and Bar Council.
At the outset, we thank you for coming at the invitation of the Judicial and Bar Council for this interview. However, we'd like you to know that we have issued similar invitations to the 5 senior incumbent members of the Supreme Court, namely Justices Carpio, Gutierrez, Puno, Kisumbing, and Santiago. They have sent us letters, individual letters, opting not to be present, and that their applications or nominations be decided on the basis of their known track record and written decisions, as well as their accomplishments as submitted to the JBC. Would you want to comment first on that?
Yes, please. With the indulgence of the 8 members of the JBC, including my respected colleague and former student in the former outstanding student in the UP College of Law, Senator Francis Pangilinan, I must say I'm surprised by this development. When I first received the written invitation for a job interview for the post of Chief Justice, I responded affirmatively with alacrity out of an abiding sense of obedience and allegiance not only to the Supreme Court, not only to the JBC, but above all to the rule of law in our country. As a former professor of constitutional law, I am acutely conscious of the equal protection clause of our Constitution. Nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws, considering that my friendly rivals for this post have decided to waive the privilege of a job interview. I feel that if I insist on an interview this afternoon, it might place my colleagues and competitors at an unfair disadvantage. If that is the case, then I am also willing, out of a spirit of collegiality and fairness, to forego the pleasure of an interview with you, notwithstanding that I had prepared for this interview as notified, and that I was looking forward very much to this occasion for two reasons at least. Number one, as a female, I would enjoy the unalloyed pleasure of a company of 8 gentlemen of my legal profession. And second, I would return to a workplace which I served when I was very young. When I had newly passed the bar, I served as special assistant to the Secretary of Justice, who was subsequently appointed Justice of the Supreme Court, and requested me to go with him as his law clerk. So I did work for about 6 months, researching and drafting opinions for Justice of Santos. And I walked these halls back and forth. I have made many acquaintances here, some of whom are still familiar to me, and whom I must say do not exhibit the ravages of time. In any event, I accede to the will of the Judicial and Bar Council.
As well as your invocation of the Equal Protection Clause, and would abide also by your desire. We will not, of course, compel anybody to an interview if such will not be to the best interest of everyone. We respect your position that it might be to the best interest of the Equal Protection Clause, as well as of fairness and sportsmanship. And so we on that basis then, Madam Senator, we appreciate your presence, but we will therefore excuse you from further sitting as an interviewee, and the JBC will now deliberate what to do.
Thank you very much. Come up and see me sometime in the Senate, gentlemen.
Thank you. Senator Pangilinan.
Thank you. Thank you. Immediately, several questions that are to be raised, but I feel we should resolve in the meeting when we decide on the nominations or the nominees to the list. Questions like, number one, do we exclude those who have refused to appear from the final list of nominees? Number two, do we declare a failure in the nomination process and then open again the nomination process to a new set of nominees? Number three, do we proceed to nominate notwithstanding the non-appearance of those we have invited to appear this afternoon? These are questions, Mr. Chief Justice, that I believe for the record we should be able to thresh out and decide upon when we meet the JBC. On Monday, I think, is the next scheduled meeting. This is just for purposes of record, Mr. Chief Justice.
Any other comment or reaction from the other members of the JBC? Secretary Gonzales.
Mr. Chief Justice, and I insist that we should meet as early as next Monday in order to finally decide whether to nominate all the 6 or the 3 as required by the Constitution. And the effect of the absence of the 5 senior justices. But in the meantime, I think we have no more, nothing more in the agenda. I move to adjourn the session of the JBC.
It's been moved and seconded that the JBC adjourns its session now. There being no objection, motion carried. Session is adjourned.